Imagine waking up every day knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to shape your life. No excuses, no blame, no waiting for someone else to fix it for you. Most people spend their lives reacting, waiting for permission, approval, or the right moment, and wonder why progress feels slow, inconsistent, or impossible. But what if I told you that there's one secret that separates people who feel powerless from those who live with unstoppable momentum, clarity, and confidence? This secret isn't about luck, talent, or waiting for life to be fair. It's about something far more powerful, taking full responsibility for your life. And here's the truth. When you truly own your choices, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, everything changes. Challenges stop feeling like obstacles. Mistakes become lessons. Fear becomes fuel. Motivation is no longer something you chase. It becomes a natural byproduct of the life you consciously create. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to stop living reactively, how to stop giving your power away, and how to take control of your destiny like never before. These principles are simple, but they are profound. And when applied, they transform not just what you do, but who you become. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand responsibility, you'll know how to wield it. All daily decisions compound into significant results over time. Choosing to react with patience rather than anger, to work on skills rather than complain, or to invest time in growth rather than distraction, all build the foundation of a life fully owned. Each decision sends a message to your mind and body about who you are and what you value, reinforcing habits that either empower or limit you. When you own your choices, you also begin to see opportunities where before you saw obstacles. The mindset shifts from life is happening to me to I am creating my life through my choices. This perspective transforms challenges into learning experiences and failures into feedback rather than defeat. The responsibility to act, to decide, and to create becomes a source of strength and confidence because it is rooted in understanding that your life is yours to shape. By fully embracing ownership of your choices, motivation, clarity, and personal power increase, and you move from being a passenger in life to being the driver of your destiny. Shifting from a victim mindset to a creator mindset is a fundamental step in taking full responsibility for your life. The victim mindset is rooted in the belief that external circumstances, other people, or events control your outcomes, leaving you feeling powerless and reactive. People operating from this perspective often focus on what they cannot change, dwell on perceived injustices, and wait for the right moment or for others to provide solutions. This way of thinking reinforces helplessness and keeps potential untapped, because energy is spent on complaints rather than action. Moving from victimhood to creation is not about ignoring challenges or pretending life is easy. It is about recognizing that no matter what happens, you always have the power to choose your response. A creator mindset begins with the understanding that every situation presents options, even when circumstances seem limiting. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? A person with a creator mindset asks, what can I do about this? This shift in focus from problems to possibilities allows energy to be directed towards solutions rather than blame. Challenges stop being obstacles and start becoming opportunities for growth, learning, and personal empowerment. It also means taking proactive steps to influence outcomes rather than waiting for external conditions to improve. This mindset requires cultivating self-awareness and honesty. Victims often unconsciously justify inaction with excuses, while creators acknowledge their role and look for what they can control. They take initiative and accept that setbacks are part of the process, not evidence of inadequacy or external conspiracy. Every decision, choice, and action becomes a tool to shape reality, and accountability replaces resentment. Adopting a creator mindset also changes how goals are approached. Rather than being dependent on outside validation or ideal circumstances, eaters focus on what they can do in the present moment to move toward their vision. This builds resilience as the emphasis shifts from circumstances to internal resourcefulness. Over time, consistently operating from a creator perspective rewires the brain to see control where once there was helplessness, fostering confidence, clarity, and momentum. By committing to this shift, life transforms from a series of reactions to a series of conscious creations. Each action becomes purposeful, each decision intentional, and the sense of power over one's destiny grows. The victim mindset diminishes because the brain recognizes that energy spent blaming is energy lost. and the creator mindset takes root because action generates results, reinforces capability, and strengthens personal responsibility. Recognizing the power of your thoughts and beliefs is central to taking full responsibility for your life because the mind shapes perception, decisions, and actions in ways that directly impact results. Every action you take originates in thought, and every thought carries an implicit belief about what is possible, who you are, and how the world works. Limiting beliefs, such as thinking you are not capable, that circumstances are unfair, or that failure is permanent, subtly dictate behavior, often without conscious awareness. These beliefs act as invisible boundaries, defining what you attempt, how much effort you give, and how you respond to setbacks. Until you take ownership of your internal dialogue, external responsibility remains incomplete because your thoughts are controlling your reactions more than your conscious decisions. Our beliefs are not inherently fixed. They are patterns learned through experience, culture, and repeated thought. By consciously evaluating and reshaping these beliefs, you reclaim control over how you perceive challenges and opportunities. When you believe you can find solutions, overcome obstacles, and grow through difficulty, you naturally adopt behaviors that align with success. Conversely, if you believe life is happening to you and that you are powerless, motivation, creativity, and resilience diminish. Taking responsibility begins by acknowledging that your thoughts are not passive observations. They are active forces that shape your life story. The impact of thoughts extends to interpretation of events. Two people can face the same circumstance yet respond in entirely different ways based on their beliefs. One sees setbacks as temporary and solvable, while the other sees failure as confirmation of inadequacy. By taking responsibility for the beliefs you hold, you gain the ability to reframe experiences, extract lessons, and direct your energy toward constructive action. This doesn't deny reality, but it changes the lens through which reality is processed, empowering you to act rather than react. Mastering your internal dialogue requires awareness and practice. It involves noticing negative self-talk, questioning limiti, NG assumptions, and replacing them with empowering perspectives that support your goals. Over time, this internal shift strengthens confidence, reduces dependency on external validation, and enhances clarity in decision-making. The alignment between your thoughts, beliefs, and actions ensures that responsibility is not just theoretical, but actively expressed in behavior. When you fully embrace the power of your thoughts and beliefs, the sense of being controlled by circumstance diminishes, and personal agency grows. Motivation, focus, and effectiveness increase naturally because your mental framework supports action rather than resistance. Responsibility becomes both an internal commitment and a practical approach to navigating life with clarity, intention, and empowered choice. Stopping the reliance on external validation is a critical step in taking full responsibility for your life because true empowerment comes from self-approval rather than the approval of others. Many people unconsciously tie their confidence, motivation, and decisions to the opinions, recognition, or acceptance of those around them. When this happens, actions are filtered through the lens of expectation rather than personal conviction, and behavior becomes reactive rather than proactive. Relying on validation outside of yourself diminishes control because your energy and direction are dependent on forces beyond your influence. Responsibility begins the moment you recognize that the only approval that truly matters is your own. External validation can take many forms: praise from peers, social recognition, awards, or simply the avoidance of criticism. While these can feel rewarding temporarily, basing decisions on them creates a fragile foundation for motivation and self-worth. When approval is absent, motivation drops and actions lose alignment with personal goals and values. People who succeed in taking full responsibility for their lives learn to prioritize internal standards over external feedback. They measure progress against their own growth, values, and vision rather than comparing themselves to others or seeking permission to act. Self-validation is not about arrogance or ignoring advice. It is about developing clarity regarding what you stand for, what matters to you, and what actions align with your purpose. When decisions are anchored in this internal compass, the influence of critics or detractors diminishes. You gain the ability to act decisively, take risks, and persist through challenges because your sense of worth and direction is self-generated. Dependence on others for motivation or confidence becomes unnecessary, freeing energy for productive action rather than worry about judgment. This shift also enhances accountability. When you stop waiting for others to approve your choices, you no longer blame them when outcomes are unfavorable. You understand that the responsibility for success and failure resides within yourself. This fosters a proactive app, Roach, where planning, effort, and reflection are guided by personal responsibility rather than external reward. Over time, releasing the need for external validation strengthens self-confidence, clarity, and resilience. Actions become consistent with values, and decisions are driven by purpose rather than fear of judgment. Motivation becomes sustainable because it is internally generated, and life becomes a reflection of intentional choice rather than a reaction to societal or peer pressure. By anchoring validation within yourself, responsibility transforms from a concept into an actionable, everyday practice that empowers you to lead your life fully and intentionally. Taking ownership of your emotions and reactions is a cornerstone of full personal responsibility because it shifts power from external circumstances to internal mastery. Many people believe that life controls how they feel, that other people, situations, or events are responsible for their emotional state. This belief creates a cycle of reactivity, where mood swings, frustration, or resentment dictate actions. In contrast, recognizing that you are the ultimate authority over your emotional responses transforms challenges from obstacles into opportunities for growth. Responsibility begins when you understand that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can control how you interpret and respond to it. Emotions are signals, not dictators. They provide information about desires, values, and perceptions, but they do not have to determine behavior. Taking responsibility means observing emotions without being overwhelmed by them and choosing actions aligned with long-term goals rather than immediate impulses. For example, anger can be a signal that a boundary has been crossed, but allowing it to dictate a reaction can create regret or conflict. By acknowledging the emotion and consciously deciding how to act, you maintain control and reinforce personal accountability. This ownership also requires recognizing patterns in emotional reactions. Repeatedly blaming circumstances or others for feelings creates a habit of disempowerment, whereas noticing triggers and choosing deliberate responses strengthens resilience. Each time you respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively, you train your nervous system to support intentional action. This practice builds self-trust and confidence because you learn that regardless of external events, you can maintain composure, clarity, and direction. Mastering emotional responsibility involves reframing experiences. Setbacks, criticism, and failures are inevitable, but the meaning assigned to them is not fixed. Choosing to view challenges as feedback and opportunities for improvement rather than as threats or injustices empowers you to act decisively and learn continuously. This mindset also reduces wasted energy on resentment, blame, or self-pity, freeing focus and effort for productive solutions, ultimately taking ownership of emotions creates a feedback loop of empowerment. When you control your reactions, outcomes improve, reinforcing the belief that you are capable and accountable. Life becomes less about external control and more about internal mastery, where every situation is an opportunity to exercise choice and strengthen personal responsibility. By committing to this practice, you transform your daily interactions, challenges, and decisions into conscious expressions of ownership over your life and your future. Acting consistently to align your life with your decisions is the final and crucial step in taking full responsibility, because responsibility without action is meaningless. Many people understand the theory of personal accountability but fail to translate it into behavior, leaving intentions unfulfilled and potential untapped. True responsibility is reflected not just in what you think or feel, but in what you do consistently over time. Every decision you make about work, health, relationships, or personal growth requires follow-through to create tangible results. Without deliberate action, even the clearest understanding of responsibility remains abstract and powerless. Consistency amplifies the impact of responsibility because small, repeated actions compound into significant results. Daily choices, when aligned with long-term goals and personal values, build momentum and create a framework for sustained progress. Skipping action, delaying decisions, or acting inconsistently undermines the sense of control and reinforces the belief that circumstances dictate outcomes rather than conscious effort. Each deliberate step reinforces accountability and strengthens the habit of ownership, making motivation and discipline more automatic over time. Aligning life with decisions also demands clarity of purpose. When you know what matters most and have committed to specific goals, actions naturally flow from decisions. This alignment reduces internal conflict, prevents wasted energy, and ensures that Every effort contributes to meaningful progress. It also strengthens confidence because seeing results from consistent action validates choices and reinforces the understanding that your life is a direct product of your decisions. Taking consistent action requires embracing responsibility for setbacks as well as successes. Obstacles, mistakes, and unexpected challenges are inevitable, but a person who acts consistently does not abandon their commitments in the face of difficulty. Instead, they adjust strategies, learn from experiences, and continue moving forward. This mindset transforms problems into opportunities for refinement and growth, reinforcing the cycle of accountability. Consistency also fosters credibility and self-trust. When you reliably follow through on decisions, both internally and externally, you build confidence in your ability to create outcomes and influence your environment. Habits of action become automatic extensions of responsibility, reducing reliance on motivation alone and allowing progress to continue even during low-energy periods. By acting consistently in alignment with decisions, responsibility becomes tangible, measurable, and self-reinforcing. It turns intentions into reality, potential into achievement, and ideas into lasting transformation. Each deliberate action strengthens control over your life, creating a continuous loop where ownership, effort, and results feed into each other, ultimately shaping the life you choose rather than the life dictated by circumstance. As we reach the end of this message, remember this. Taking full responsibility for your life is not a one-time decision, it is a daily practice. It begins with owning every choice you make, shifting from a victim mindset to a creator mindset, and recognizing the power of your thoughts and beliefs. It requires releasing the need for external validation, taking control of your emotions and reactions, and consistently aligning your actions with your decisions. Responsibility is not about blame or perfection, it is about empowerment, action, and the unwavering commitment to shape your life through conscious choices. When you embrace responsibility fully, you stop giving your power away to circumstances, other people, or fleeting emotions. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as feedback, and challenges as chances to grow. Your life becomes a reflection of intentional action, not random events. Motivation, clarity, and confidence no longer depend on luck or external conditions. They come from within, fueled by your decisions and actions. Remember, the path to ownership is a journey, and every step you take reinforces your power and potential. The moment you stop blaming, waiting, or depending on approval, you unlock a life of freedom, purpose, and unstoppable momentum. Your future is not shaped by chance. It is shaped by the choices you make and the actions you take starting now. I wish you courage, clarity, and relentless determination as you take full ownership of your life. Good luck on this journey of empowerment, and thank you for investing your time and focus in learning how to create the life you truly deserve.